Today we're going to talk about the FX3 and the C70 from my point of view, which is a wedding filmmaking point of view. So about a week ago, I pre-ordered the A7S III on both Autorama and Best Buy, and they both said like late December to January shipping date. And I was just going to cancel out whichever one didn't ship first. Well, Monday morning, I got an email from both Best Buy and Autorama that they both shipped out. Then I figured I would just kind of return one, and there we go, I'd have my FX3. Well, that got me to thinking after I kind of pulled one out of the box. This thing is so small and so light. Should I just keep both and sell my C70? So let me give a quick little disclaimer. This video and these opinions are going to be based on the way that I work and what I film, and that's weddings. These are solely going to be used for wedding filmmaking. I do a lot of commercial stuff as well for clients, but I kind of gravitate towards my Blackmagic setup for that with the Ursa Pro G2 and the Pocket 4K. I actually sold the Pocket 6K to fund or partially fund this. So anyway, so that's how I'm kind of approaching this, and I wanted to just make a quick video to kind of give you my pros and cons based on a year of filming with the Canon and what I'm excited about for the Sony, and actually have one wedding coming up in a few weeks where I'm going to, I think, use both, or maybe just use use the Sony and then compare it to the weddings I've filmed this year with the C70. So let's get into quickly what I liked about a year of filming weddings with the C70 as the primary camera. My wedding kit for this last year was this C70 and a Blackmagic 6K and 4K. So that was my kit. I definitely thought that it was a little cumbersome, more so with the Pocket 4K and 6K as far as getting them mounted on things, getting a solution for the battery power. Anyway, back to the C70. It was a great wedding camera. I like to do mostly handheld. I don't like to have a camera on a gimbal and just walk around with the gimbal all day. It's not my style. Nothing wrong with it, but it's just not the way I approach it. So this was great for hand holding all day. It's heavy enough with the battery and a decent lens where you're not going to get the micro jitters. So I really liked that. It does have some digital stabilization in the camera, and then if you have a lens with IBIS, but it was great for that. The battery life, I could go all day with 2 or 3 batteries tops, depending if they're the thick ones or the smaller ones. But built-in ND filters. The screen on this, albeit a little flimsy feeling, it lasted me a full year so far, so I mean, I guess it's fine. It just feels a little flimsy. But the display on it is just it's so much better than what I imagine the A7S III, the FX3 will be, because it just looks so much smaller. But anyway, the screen on this was great. The built-in ND filters are life-changing. If you're going like from a church inside to outside, just, you can keep rolling, just tap the ND filter button. I really liked that. It saved a few shots. The exposure tools on this are awesome. You got false color. You can have a waveform on the screen at any time. You can move it around. You're really customizable, really good exposure tools. I don't think I really messed up my exposure too much at all year because of it. It was really reliable, and overall I really just was able to get a great image, C-Log 3 pretty much the whole time. It was just really easy for me to get an image that I was super happy with. I really liked the overall experience. I kind of want to talk about what planted the seed in my head to make me really kind of start thinking about how a smaller Sony might benefit my workflow going forward in 2022. And that's basically, I just wanted to incorporate some more gimbal stuff into my workflow and into my videos. I did that a little bit with the Pocket 4K. It was okay, wasn't super happy with it, mostly just establishing shots because of the lack of autofocus. And also the weight. I mean, this is pretty heavy. After 8, 10, 12 hours holding it all day like this, your back's gonna hurt, or at least mine did. So enter the Sony. Now what I'm really excited about, what has me kind of pondering, do I keep both of these and sell the Canon, is the weight. It's just, you could store 2 of these, 3 of these in a backpack, and versus having what I had before was roller cases with the C70 and the pockets. And being able to put it onto a gimbal and off, so your camera all day can be handheld, can be on a gimbal. It's versatile, and I think it will make my overall experience a little bit better. And hopefully that allows me to get some better shots and more shots that I wouldn't get if I'm worrying about putting a Pocket 4K onto a gimbal versus taking it out of my bag if I'm going handheld with this. So I think this will just allow me to be in more spots, get more shots, and hopefully have less back pain. A few thoughts that are kind of always made me hesitate to make the jump to Sony for weddings is because my kit is mostly Canon glass. I mean, right now I don't even have Sony lenses. I have a bunch of Canon glass. This is a cinema lens with a MC11 adapter. The size is obviously a pro to the Sony as far as a check in the win column, but I wonder if it's also going to be a check in the negative column because it is so small, and it is going to kind of, I wonder if it's going to take away that handheld look that I liked so much with a little bit of the heavier setup. I know there's IBIS in here, and if you have a lens IBIS, so we'll kind of see how that compares. I do have a wedding coming up in a few weeks where I'm going to definitely use the Sony, maybe even use both of them and just forget the Canon, and then see how my experience was, compare it with footage from this year, and then really make the decision if I keep both of the Sonys or if I return one and keep the Canon. I could sell the Canon for enough to offset the cost of one of these plus a lens probably, so it is tempting. I'll follow up after I shoot the wedding. We'll have some actual wedding footage with the Sony and some wedding footage with the Canon where I can kind of give you my input and kind of let you know how it went and what am I going to do? Am I going to keep them both? I don't know. So if you want to buy a Canon, hit me up. If you want to buy a C70, I might have one for sale. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching and hanging out with me for a few minutes where we talk about some cameras. We'll see you in the next one.